Salutations, salutations. This is the Blurred Syndicate. So come on and join the BS. Today I have with me men that I've known half of my life almost since 2005. This is my League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And so this time we're going to talk about DC's new movie that's coming out on HBO Max. It is called Justice League, the Snyder Cut. So we're going to talk about whether or not we like it, whether we think it's a good idea, whether you think it's going to be different. And so before we do that, I want everybody to kind of introduce themselves, and then we'll get to talking about some stuff. Oh, by the way, my name, I didn't even talk about who I was. So my name is Wyatt. I am the godfather of this syndicate, and we just here to enjoy, talk some shit, and enjoy ourselves. So I had to start with the guys that I grew up with, and see how everything goes from here. All right, so fellas, take it away.
My name's Dennis. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. My name is Dennis. I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia. Me and my wife and my daughter. I would consider myself a blurred, black nerd, and I'm just happy to be here. So I'll just pass the mic along.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Vic. Currently reside in South Carolina, born and raised in Alabama. Just a big fan of, I say, good movies in general, but particularly interested and a fan of the potential that I thought DC could have realized with Zach Snyder directing the Justice League. So I'm excited to finally see the Snyder Cut. So we'll see how it goes.
And what's up? I'm your boy, Sir, aka Jeremy. I am opposed to what DC is doing and all their destructive capabilities when it comes to my fan favorite Batman and Batman-related activities. And yeah, we're gonna get into it because I ain't got no faith in this one.
All right, so Jeremy, sir, why do you not have any faith in this one?
Track record. I feel like the best Batman, and I ain't even gonna say Batman. I'm gonna go overall. DC, out of all the DC films in the past 15 to 20 years, I'll say to me, DC maybe had a good 7 out of all the films they put together in the last 2 decades. Inconsistency. You know, that's been my main thing. And I get different directors and different writers have different ideas, and that's cool. It's just, you make fun of Marvel for having this grand idea, and they showed you how to do it, even with the bad movies. But you still can't get some sort of, you know what I'm saying, consistency going with your characters and players. It's just, every time you look up, there's a different actor. And then for some reason, the higher ups at DC don't know what's going on with the fans. I don't know. It just, it's too many hands in the pot to me.
So, Vic, how do you feel about this, man? Because I know every time there was a poster, every time there was a screenshot on Instagram, you was ready to go. It was like Snyder Cut's coming.
Yeah, man. I was trying to maintain the faith, man. It was hard for a while, man. It didn't seem like we was gonna catch traction, but we finally did. But I think I can say that I agree with Jeremy's position that there hadn't been many good DC movies. But that's why I was excited to see what potential Zack Snyder could bring to the franchise, man. I mean, I like his directing style. I like his vision. I love his cinematography. So I was excited to see what he could do with it, especially after seeing what he did with the Man of Steel. You know, some people thought it was okay. You know, I loved it. I mean, it left something to be desired in terms of it left plenty for them, I felt like, to build off of in a sequel. that we never really got. But I like the direction that it was headed in. I particularly liked it because it was a contrast from, and I guess this is kind of diverging a little bit from Jeremy's position, but I particularly liked it because it was a contrast to what Marvel had done. I mean, Marvel clearly wanted their movies to be, kind of family friendly, whereas Zack Snyder and his vision was not afraid to be dark. And after we had seen, at that point, almost a decade of Marvel movies, that were, that openly embraced the warm and fuzzy, I was ready for something a little bit more serious, a little bit more adult, something with a little darker and more serious tone. So that's why I was excited about Zack Snyder being the director.
So D. Taylor, I know you've seen all of the movies because you didn't see them with us. But what do you feel like, man?
In my opinion, to be honest with you, like Jeremy said, and what Vic alluded to as well, is that Marvel kind of showed you how to do it. I think where DC messed up was they put too much, they brought out too much too fast. If you think about how Marvel put their movies out, they dropped Iron Man, right? They dropped the Incredible Hulk after that. They ended up dropping Thor. They started doing the movie slowly. They pushed it out slowly. We knew the Avengers was coming, right? We knew it was coming, right? But they gave you little teaspoons, and then bam, they dropped the Avengers. You know what I'm saying? And where I think that DC messed up was they were like, damn, let's go ahead and jump to this Justice League right now, and try to put it all together. And now what's going on with DC is that really, man, they just throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks. Now I do believe that the Snyder Cut, because if you see what's going on now, Henry Cavill has re-signed his deal as Superman. I don't know about Ben Affleck or anybody else, and the Cyborg situation is very unfortunate. But as you see right now, I think once this Snyder Cut hits, I think it's kind of like what games have we played? Like Call of Duty, right? DC has been shot, right? And they're crawling, but the Snyder Cut comes through and revives them, right? Online multiplayer. Good analogy. Right, brings them back to life, right? This is your chance. You just can't fuck it up, right? The Snyder Cut is going to could rejuvenate DC, but you got to play it right.
I definitely agree. With some of this stuff that's been going on, like it didn't seem like they had a plan in order. So like, how when Kevin Feige was talking, he was saying, oh man, this is like a 10-year plan where we got this going on, this going on, this going on. And right. He kind of worked through that part. The thing with like DC, I felt like they just tried to force feed us like, oh, because it's this superhero, we're going to like it no matter what. And I think the whole community, blurs, nerds, everybody, like they have a certain expectation and we're not dumb when it comes to this stuff. So when it feels like a money grab, like you just gonna put something together and we gonna spend millions and millions of dollars on it, it's not gonna be that way. Because especially I think, and this is what I think Marvel does a really good job of, they have different types of movies for different types of people. So just like you had the warm and fuzzies, but then you also had stuff with like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, where that was just an espionage movie. You know what I'm saying? So, and the thing with Zack Snyder, he's dark, man, and he's gonna do it. But the thing that he needs to really have is, I think, the backing of the people behind him. And I don't think he had that because, like, I don't know if anybody's seen the ultimate cut of Batman versus Superman, but a lot of the question marks and a lot of the stuff that made Batman versus Superman really, really poor and not well received is really handled in the ultimate cut. But the DC people were telling him that they need to have a movie under 2 hours because the fans' attention spans don't last that long. But then, 3 years later, we sitting through Endgame that's 3 hours long. So,
right.
So yeah, it's I wanted to be able to see how everybody felt about the the character selections, like Ben Affleck as Batman, Henry Cavill, you know, Gal Gadot, you know, she was pretty good with Wonder Woman. I was surprised, so just want to see how everybody feels about that.
Hey, I'm gonna jump right on in and say that might be one thing that they have gotten right is the casting. Me personally, especially with Ben Affleck, I don't care what nobody got to say. Ben Affleck is the best on-screen version of Batman that we have seen. He may not have necessarily been in the best Batman film that we've seen, but in my opinion, he's the best iteration we've seen of Batman on the big screen. Because if you look at the way he was portrayed in Batman versus Superman, and if you look at, I think the guy's name is Frank Miller's his Dark Knight comic. I mean, apples to apples comparison, man. Like, he really brought that to life, bro. And I loved it, man. Like that dark, gritty, kind of grizzled veteran, you know, old man, kind of stuck in his ways and tired of the BS type position. I loved it, man. He brought it to life.
I'm gonna agree with you there, bro. As soon as you know, all of us kind of sat and we talked about movies all the time, but I think all of us got together and we said, if Ben Affleck is the same Ben Affleck from The Town, we Gucci, we good. Batman is sewn up. That's you know, that's done. The only person I didn't really feel, and I'm not even gonna say didn't feel, that I was shaky on was the Flash. Ezra Miller, I think is his name.
Yeah.
I just didn't know much about him.
Right.
Yeah, he was up and coming. Yeah.
Right. And, you know, I didn't see enough back history to get a grasp of what he could do. So, and I left it up to DC. I was like, well, they got Batman, right? They got Henry Cavill, and he's a fucking monster. Gal Gadot, I had never heard of, and then she murdered Wonder Woman. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay.
Fast and Furious.
Oh, she was in there?
Yeah, she was Han's girlfriend in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, all of them kind of blurred together for me.
I'm with you, Jeremy. I'm with you. When they cast her as Wonder Woman and they said she was in Fast and Furious, like, I had to go back and try to figure out what film she was in, because I just didn't remember seeing her. And that could be, you know, like Dennis said, or like you said, because it was just so many of them.
Right.
You know, and I don't think she played a major role. If she did, you know.
Right.
I guess I missed it, but yeah.
But everybody else, I felt good on. Ray Fisher, I think he's a great cyborg. I think he so the reason I'm gonna give Ray Fisher a lot of flowers is because he's half human, which he can tap into that emotional side with his dad, and then he can be robotic when he's explaining what he's about to do. Not a lot of people can juggle that, going back and forth. So for him to be able to switch back and forth, he did great. I love him. So as far as the casting goes, love it.
I think he's great, man. I think he's a great actor, man. I just think with what's going on right now with the investigation of WB, man. Man, you know, I think I'm guilty of this. When I was younger and we was in a fraternity, being outspoken, but as I've matured, I know that there's a time to say something, there's a time not to say something. And if you want your career to continue, especially being an African-American male in that type of aspect, you know, acting, then, because you don't want to get the difficult stamp put on you. Like, that's what happened to Aunt Viv with Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? She got the difficult stamp put on her, and she could hardly find work.
Didn't find work. It wasn't no hardly about it. that was it. So, well, what about Jason Momoa for Aquaman? Now, that dude, like, he made one of the quote unquote uncoolest superheroes into the biggest badass that they had. And I like the fact that they have their own movies that go along with them, like the Wonder Woman, the Aquaman movies. The movies that came after Justice League were a really good stepping off point. I just wish that, like you said, there was more character development with everybody beforehand. So, like, me personally, I think they should have had like another another Man of Steel video, maybe before this one. Maybe introduce, like, maybe y'all fight Brainiac and then you introduce Cyborg here. You You know what I'm saying? So then you got computer versus computer. You got that way to bring people in. But I think they were trying to do a whole lot with that, where they had to try to introduce a lot of people and tell a good story at the same time, and that's difficult to do.
Yeah, I think. Do we lose Dennis?
Yeah, he'll be back here in a second, though.
I want to touch on two things, man. I was going to ask about how y'all felt about Jason Momoa. I think his physical presence definitely did a lot for the on-screen version of Aquaman. As far as his acting chops, I think he has plenty of room to grow in that area. I'm gonna just say that. Ray Fisher. Just to kind of touch back on the point that Dennis made, I think he has a lot of potential, man. I haven't seen him in a whole lot of things, whole lot of films or TV shows or whatnot. But I did see him. He acted alongside Mahershala Ali in True Detective series. I think that's the HBO series. He did his thing in that. So I think he has a lot of potential, man. But I kind of differ from Dennis's opinion a little bit. I think it took a lot of balls, man, to come out and take that position that he did, and kind of speaking out on the some of the racial injustices he experienced, while working with WB. I'm pretty sure he was well aware he put his career on the line, but you gotta, for somebody that's willing to take that chance but yet speak out in the name of justice, I think you got to get him kudos, man. And at the same time, at the end of the day, the only color a lot of people see is green, man. So if the Snyder Cut does well and it's embraced by the fans and it generates enough revenue for WB, regardless of what he said in the past, how they may feel about it, they not going to ignore, the fans' position on this film and the characters in it. I think they'll be foolish not to bring everybody back, for a second go around.
Yeah,
and I just crazy though, like low key. And I agree with you. It does take balls, but with being a sacrificial lamb, you're being a sacrificial lamb. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the ugly truth of it. But I absolutely hate the fact that there's a possibility that he would be back because it makes so much money. Ain't that fucked up? Like, in that capitalism?
Oh yeah, it's just like don't you lucky Negro. The only reason we're bringing you back,
right? Yeah, that nigga sure brought us some them nigga dollars. Right, I'm gonna put them back. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
But with Jason Momoa, I was disappointed a little bit how he was written. Because I think with the New 52, I read a lot of the Aquaman reboot, and Aquaman was really akin to Namor, like as far as his mindset, like, for my people and my people only. If you ain't an Atlantean, I don't fuck with you for real. You know what I'm saying? Do what y'all do over there on the surface, but down here, you know what I'm saying, we don't play that stupid shit. Like, I wanted to see a more, for lack of a better term, savage,
militant.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like a more strict, not a fun-loving, I dig it. That type of shit. I ain't really care for that.
Well, I think that the reason why they did that was they didn't stick to their guns when it came to kind of how they made him. You know what I'm saying? Because when they had him in Batman versus Superman, like, he was defending the sea, and then all of a sudden he was just like, well, I don't really mess with them. I just happen to swim really, really fast. And so that was a part that I thought was really, really funny, because it was just like, oh, so now he's like, no, I just help these poor fisher countries, fishing sports and stuff like that. Like, I definitely agree, Vic. Like, I think more of a time he was just playing himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna say these lines, and I think the fad right now is like, Peloponnesian people, you know what I mean? Like, they're not, and so, like, that's part of the reason why The Rock gets over, you know what I mean? Because he did that for the Hobbs and Shaw thing, and like in the hockey, that it is really, really cool to look at. So everybody is really interested in that. But you know what I mean? Having a culture that's Atlantean based, I think would have been cool. The one thing I thought was really funny though was when they did the trailer of Aquaman and they put it side by side with Black Panther, and then they just pretty much was like, huh. So I mean, they pretty much did just say, okay, well, we're gonna do this, but this is gonna be under the sea. Little Mermaid with Black Panther. So it is one of those things where I think they definitely have room to grow. I don't want them to just like every story don't have to have a happy ending. And I think that's one of the things that Zach Snyder was really, really good at is just like when he snapped Zod's neck, he was like, listen, I don't want to do it.
Never saw that you would have never saw Marvel do that, man, in an origin film, bro. Never.
No. So it's a lot of different things that I think like Zack Snyder had a whole lot of plans for. So like the fact that he built stuff up and he said he really wanted to do just a Batman movie, and then they gave him Batman vs Superman. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of times if you develop these characters, especially I like the fact that they humanize Superman a way more than just I know what's right and I know what's like he's living in gray because he's like I don't know what to do in these situations. So I think it's really, really good that they have that going on, but we'll see how they do it from there. Real quick question for you guys: how do you feel about them doing a revamp of Superman, but they're talking about making him black?
I'm calling bullshit. I don't believe it. If they do it, it's going to be a fake out. If they do this will be the introduction of their crisis storyline. Because remember, there was a black Superman from an alternate Earth.
It became president.
So I think that's if we do hear about Michael B. Jordan getting signed to something, which is interesting because he's still negotiating Black Panther 2. He's still talking money over there, him and Donald Glover. So I thought that was interesting. So I'm for it. Get your bag, bro. Both sides. It's money on the table. Scoop that shit up.
I'm not opposed to it, man. I wanted to be genuine, man. I don't want them to do it just because they feel like that's a way to grab an additional number of fans because they made an iconic superhero black. Just be genuine about it, man. Like we smarter than that. Give us more credit for that than to just make a black superhero and expect us to turn out, I guess, like we did for Black Panther. There should be more to it than that, man. But you mentioned Donald Glover. I guess what's his role supposed to be in the Black Panther story? Because he had a role in Spider-Man Homecoming, right? So is he gonna continue that same role, just I guess developing his character more, or is he supposed to be a completely different character altogether?
I don't know, brother. There is a character, I can't think of his name, but he's akin to the Joker. But he's able to raise people from the dead. And that's what really got me interested about, okay, Killmonger's probably coming back. I would like to see that. Maybe not as the focal point of 2. Maybe like a stinger at the end, you see him gasp, back to life or something. And then with Donald Glover, it could be like Beyonce was doing, it could be negotiating music rights or music contracts, because it's easy to forget that boy a whole musician out here.
Now that would be dope. That'll be dope.
Mm-hmm. So I can't wait to see it. But yeah, he's definitely the Prowler in Spider-Man. So
right.
I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do.
He's been wanting to try to be actually like Miles Morales. He was definitely trying to do that one for years, but now I think he's a little bit too. Even though black don't crack, like he could still definitely pull off like a older high school, but not compared to like Tom Holland. And that Tom Holland just messed him up because he looks too young. So, but so what are your expectations? What got you excited about Justice League: The Snyder Cut, if anything?
Well, I guess part of the excitement You know, it's just the fact that we got it, man. You know, we went from saying, you know, when the theatrical cut came out, you know, the dialogue was it didn't exist. The Snyder Cut didn't exist. We went from that to, yeah, well, it may potentially exist. You know, we went from that to, yeah, well, it exists, but, you know, it's not finished and we'll never release it. We went from that to, yeah, well, you know, it looks like we're getting enough people behind it, and it's, you know, it's a lot more finished than we initially let on, you know. So if we could just get enough dollars behind it to actually do some of the post-production, yeah, we could potentially have a film. And then, you know, to where we are today, you know, in a matter of 3 hours and 15 minutes, man, it'll be available for us to stream. So I, you know, that's part of the excitement for me. And you know, it's like I said initially, man, you know, I was so excited after seeing already being a fan of Zach Snyder's directing style before he got into working with DC, and then seeing what he did with the Man of Steel, and then seeing what he did with Batman versus Superman in the Ultimate Cut, like you mentioned earlier, Wide, and just knowing what he could do with this story, I was, you know, that's my excitement, man. And I did peek around on YouTube at some non-spoiler reviews, and it looks like it's living up to the hype, you know, for the most part. But I'm gonna try to be objective when I see it, man, and not view it and rate it as it compares to the theatrical cut, but kind of view it and rate it in a vacuum and see if it can stand on its own merit. But yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm not excited. I am excited because, like you said, we have a chat, and we've been chatting about this for how many years? You know what I'm saying, about the Snyder Cut, and here we are, 2021 is coming to, you know, to light. So it's good to see that we hold some financial power, you know what I'm saying, as fans. If we generate enough buzz, we can get some shit done. As far as the film itself, I saw a couple spoiler-free reviews, and they are excited, but I'm the pessimist out the clique. I know that people are excited, and on Christmas, everything is great on Christmas. Even the pack of socks you get. Oh shit, nigga, pack of socks. Let's go.
Right.
No shows.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
The one thing DC has conditioned me to do is take my 10 to about a 7. That way I'm not disappointed. Because I'll give you a prime example. WandaVision, the finale. Everybody's expectations was at a 10. The episode was about an 8, and people were pissed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let myself get to that point where I'm drawing conclusions. Nah, just gonna sit back, and when you show it to me, I'll see it. You know, one thing I am excited about with Zack Snyder is that incomplete as flashback as alternate timeline, whatever happened. I'm excited to see what was that about. I can't wait to see that. When I seen Jared Leto sitting there on the car with a SWAT vest and smeared makeup, I was like, oh shit, he has something in store. Like, there's another layer to this story that we didn't get to see in the first film. So I'm excited to see the additions. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited to see Darkseid lay hands on somebody's child. Because somebody finna get that work. Like, no disrespect to Thanos. Thanos, it was like 50-50 in niggas, but Darkseid, it was always, if you ain't Superman, you catching hands.
Yeah,
it's over with.
And even if you are Superman, you still gonna get a run for your money, you know?
Right. What Vic coined the phrase, a good old country ass whooping, and that's what I want to see. You know, so hopefully it's a abundance of ass whooping. And also, I wanted to address something that I can't remember who said it. I think it was you, Wyatt. You was like, they made Aquaman to be the badass. I'm gonna disagree. I think the badass they made was Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is by far the coldest character. No disrespect to Superman, you know, it's just Superman and Man of Steel, which I love. That's my favorite DC film, period. No disrespect to Chris Nolan shit, but Superman just had layers of,
it made me want to see what Krypton was all about too.
Facts. And not only that, it's the religious undertones, like the spirituality of the sun, you know what I'm saying? And If you listening to this, just go back and watch Man of Steel and just keep a Christian mind and watch it again. It's
Talking
a lot
about
of
being the
illusion.
bridge.
Right,
Being the bridge.
Right. So with Wonder Woman in Batman v Superman, she was a killer.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was a hammer. She was a warrior.
You even
Niggas
caught her
would die.
smiling a couple of times during that battle with Apocalypse. I mean, not
Right.
Apocalypse, with Doomsday.
Doomsday. She was lit. She was an amp. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to get back to seeing her go back into that, you know, because Wonder Woman, the first one was like, okay, she's naive, she don't really know much, you know, but I want that Diana. I want the one that'll cut your head off and show your body off and shit like that. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, I'm saying as far as where Aquaman was in like the comic books, where everybody just pretty much he's talking to fish is his superpower. he had the biggest step up, like, you know what I'm saying. So like, you know, if you looking at that part there, like that's what I mean by he had making him look like a badass, not the badass, but just a badass. Yeah. So because beforehand it was just like, I remember that's why they got something with what is it, SpongeBob SquarePants? They making fun of him. You know what I'm saying?
South Park too, man. The fish sticks and gay fish jokes. Yeah, man.
Bruh.
Yeah, man.
So like, to me, I just like, I'm excited about seeing some of that fully developed idea. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, like, if you look at what was going on, they always cut his ideas short, and so then you had to go to the director's cut or the ultimate edition to be able to do that. Now, I am upset with him about his character development or his character design for Doomsday, looking like a troll from like Lord of the Rings. Like I wouldn't really like, he takes all of that L, but as far as everything else, like the storyline, even how they got to the point, I felt like it was rushed, but he had to do with what he had to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think I'm excited to see the black suit Superman. I'm excited to see, like, I think Superman has more of an edge to him here, and I like that because, like, beforehand, everybody calls him the Boy Scout, everything like that. But this Superman is like, listen, I'm trying to be good, but don't fuck with me. Like, I will snap. You didn't see what I just did to Zod. Right, like, and he was the last one of me. So ain't nobody here to stop me. So that's the one thing that I really like about it. And I really want to see what they do and kind of the storylines they set up, because I feel like sometimes DC, they shot themselves in the foot. You know what I'm saying? Like, rather than having like just a storyline of what they like with Feige, the way he does it is that he has like a storyboard. I feel like, okay, this is what's going to happen, and like, I don't care how you get to this point in between, but at the end of your movie, your storyline needs to have these points in it. But I felt like they tried to micromanage Zach Snyder a whole lot, and I think that's what kind of messed him up. Because I wanted to see what, you know, like everybody was talking about Ben Affleck's Batman, like where he was going to direct one and everything like that, and they reneged on him. So then he was like, I'm done being Batman. So hopefully this will kind of bring him back in the fold. Hopefully, I think one of the main reasons why they didn't do the Snyder Cut for so long was just because, you know, that one executive was like, if this movie is better than the movie that we put out, I'm going to lose my job. So, and I think this is going to kind of show that, you know what I mean? That's why I think they've been trying to just mess with him a little bit on that one, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree with you, man. On one of the non-spoiler reviews that I watched, they said at the end, they couldn't wrap their mind around how they made the decision to put that bullshit out theatrical cut, how they made the decision to put that out over the Snyder Cut, you know. So like you said, that's probably why somebody been pushing so hard for so long not to get a Snyder Cut done, because they're trying to hold on to their job, man. But yeah, I think if DC just embraces the fact that they have a lane, and if they just stick to that lane, man, and embrace it, and don't try to be Marvel, because I think as much as people love Marvel and as much success as Marvel had, I think people, they don't want another Marvel. If you try to give them another Marvel, you're not going to be able to put a product out that's going to be able to, stand toe to toe with Marvel. So, don't even try. Embrace your own lane. You have your own lane. DC Comics is its own, has its own fan base and has its own tones and messages and character developments. Like, there's so much you could do with that world. Just embrace it, man, and put the best product out that you can in that vein, and you'll be successful.
All right, so Vic, one thing to kind of touch on while you guys talked about that's a perfect segue. So do you think that the DC universe had an unfair shake because of the fact that they were going against what Marvel had? So like if you go and watch Man of Steel and they're expecting, maybe people are expecting more of a DC or Marvel tone, do you think that worked against them, or do you think kind of the lumps that they got were well deserved?
I think that I don't think Marvel's success worked against them. I think the lumps that they got were self-imposed. I think that you may have had some people that were expecting to see Marvelized, for lack of a better term, Superman when they went to go see Man of Steel, but I think once you left the theaters after seeing that movie, it was clear, all right, this is not finna be Marvel. So, and for some people that wanted it to be Marvel, that saw that it wasn't going to be, they were going to be okay with it. You had some people that wanted something more, a little dark and a little more serious, they were going to be okay with it. And the people that wanted Marvel didn't get it and weren't happy about it, that's fine. And I think they shouldn't have been afraid to lose those handful of fans, in my opinion, that wanted something lighter and more family oriented, and just develop the seed that they had planted. I think where they got in trouble was, they started out in one direction, and it was clear, in my opinion, when you walked away from the Man of Steel, it was clear what direction it looked like they were going to go in. But then, you have all this interference in Batman versus Superman, and then this complete pivot with the Justice League. I think that's where they kind of stumbled at, man, because it's like they tried to put it between the three movies. They tried to put out a product that tried to do two things, but ended up failing at both because they couldn't do both of them well. So.
What about you, Jay?
Yeah. Vic just kind of summed it up. When I was looking at my phone just now, I was looking at the year that Man of Steel came out, 2013. I looked at what Marvel movies came out. Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. The worst. So I can see when I say I pick Marvel over them, I'm not saying Marvel don't have trash movies, because don't even ask me who the villain of Thor 2 was. I don't remember. It was a dark elf nigga, and I just know an Infinity Stone was in it. That was the sole reason I really watched that film, because I knew an Infinity Stone was in it. But with DC, with Superman hit me hard. I remember I left work and went directly there to go watch it. And I watched movies by myself, if not with the clique, to kind of, make sure I'm not distracted by anything. And I was so impressed with Superman, Man of Steel, that I was like, okay, so they obviously want to take the story we know and love, give us bits of it, but twist it a little bit, like make it more modern. You know what I'm saying? Because like you alluded to, with him snapping Zach's neck, that shit created a buzz like no others. People was outraged, people were surprised, but people were talking about it. You know what I'm saying? With that being the case, with that kind of success, which I feel like DC maybe wasn't ready for just yet, that's when all the hands came into the pot. And that's where shit started to shift. No, I feel like we should go in this direction. No, we feel like this should go in this direction. And the following movies showed that. So I have faith that DC can do it if they leave people the fuck alone. Mm-hmm. Hence with Joker. Joker had no connection to anything. They just took a message, made a superhero, well, not superhero, took a superhero background and made it the background story and told an excellent story. An excellent story, standalone, excellent story. DC can do dark. DC can do dark. So go dark, bruh. Like you said, Vic, we don't need another Marvel. Marvel got the kiddie shit on lock. You know what I'm saying? And even Marvel is starting to twist into its darker side. Like, I don't know if people noticed, like over the last, I say what, 3 years, shit is slowly turning mature. Especially with now Disney confirming that Deadpool's gonna be rated R. DC damn sure now has to stay in their, you know what I'm saying, in their box with not being able to kill people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with it. If they can, I'm hoping Justice League has like a gruesome death. I hate to say it that way, but I hope a supervillain gets it like in the worst way. If they can pull that off and stand by it, I'll have faith in them.
Can we just talk about how badass that fight scene was on Batman versus Superman with Batman and them thugs, where he was just...
Oh, he killed a guy?
Yeah. And not only that, he just slamming heads and stuff like that. Like, that was literally out of, like, if you played any of the Batman games.
That nigga dead.
Don't get me started on that, man. Like, that may arguably be the best on-screen Batman action sequence we have seen, bro. Like it was.
That warehouse fight was fucking.
There's something else we're forgetting to mention too. I remember Vic was talking about, as far as Men in Affleck, but do you think Robert Pattinson had big shoes to fill with the Batman? When you talked about the scene in the trailer where he's with those goons and he beat all of them up. Right.
He fucked that one. He beat all of them up, but he fucked that one nigga up.
He took the spirit out the whole group by just beating the shit out of that one dude. He was just like, oh, somebody go catch. If I'm gonna go down, somebody go catch all of this.
Yeah. I think he does have some big shoes to fill, man. Because we've seen some pretty good portrayals of Batman on screen, so he does have some big shoes to fill. I like the fact that it looks so dark, it's almost gothic. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that undertone. I don't think it's one that we've quite seen, at least for a long time. You probably got to go all the way back to maybe the first or second Batman film with the Joker or the Penguin, to really have a connection there to something that was that dark. But yeah, man, I'm gonna try to go into that with open mind, man, and not pay so much attention to the jokes about him being a Twilight Batman or whatnot. And
I think that this could really help his career if he does it right. Also, I think Zoe Kravitz. I think her supporting. Oh, go ahead.
Before we move to Zoe, he's gonna be fine. Have y'all seen Tenet?
Yeah, oh yeah, Tenet with
I saw Tenet. My bad. Go ahead, Dennis.
No, I was just identifying, Tenet with Denzel's son.
John Washington.
Yeah, I saw it. I thought it was a good movie. And it's funny you mentioned that, Jeremy. I was looking for, because I've heard a lot of people say that that Robert Pattinson has some brilliant acting chops. So I was looking for something from that performance to make me say, okay, I see what people are talking about. I didn't quite get it. He didn't do bad in the film. It's just I didn't get anything that made me, kind of raise an eyebrow to say, all right, I see what people are talking about. Now, with that being said, I will admit that I haven't seen a lot of his films, especially some of the ones that a lot of people point to when they give him credit for some of his acting skills. So I probably need to do a little bit of homework myself. A lot of people talk about his performance, and I think it was called The Lighthouse with
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Will Dafoe. A lot of people talk about that when they point to one of his better performances. So I probably want to check that out. But yeah, I think if he can live up to, if he's as good as I've heard people say he is, I think I agree with you, Jeremy. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah. The reason that I feel like Tenet isn't enough to get a gauge, like a full evaluation of him, he was a supporting actor. You know, he was second to John. He has the presence of an action character. Like I could see him whooping a nigga's ass after watching Tenet fully.
Gotcha.
Especially in that fight scene where they were not giving the movie away, but when they were in that hallway and the thing happened that you saw later. Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, oh, he can go. I could see him fighting some goons that way. Also, when Chris Nolan works with you, you get like an asterisk next to your name. Like, he just don't pick any motherfucking body. Yeah. It's like Quentin Tarantino. Yeah. He just don't pick anybody who could fill a role. He got to see you do it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this will be the start for him. Like, reference this conversation after the Batman.
Yeah, I think you're right about that with him, because I think John David Washington said that when he got the role, that Christopher Nolan was on him hard about his weight. I think he caught him eating something on set, or like in between. And I don't know if he like got upset about it or something like that, but I remember him saying that like he was very hard. He wanted him to have a certain look for Tenet. And to maintain that look. So I agree.
So Dennis, what is your expectation for Justice League the Snyder Cut? Because I know you had to take care of some dad duties.
I had to take care of some dad duties. So I like I said, like, you know, if you will allow me to indulge. Like I was saying earlier, with Ray Fisher in that situation, even with the movie as a whole, I think this is an awesome movie for him. I think they also showed me he can do more. I think he can do a lot of other things too. I'm just worried that he may have been already given the stamp of hard to work with. But as a whole, the cast, I think the cast is great, man. I think why it's going to be long is because we're also going to get that Cyborg origin story that we were supposed to get anyway in the first film. We were supposed to get an origin story about how he became Cyborg. And we never even got that. We just looked up and we see this black guy with a cannon, you know, and laser beams and stuff like that, man. I'm like, okay, because if you remember in what was it, Batman vs Superman, you saw the end. You saw his dad, you know, working on something, and his son pretty much half dead, right, like mangled, right. And we didn't even know how they got to that point. We just looked up and here's Cyborg. But I will say this though, I think as a whole, I think it's gonna be awesome. I think that it's gonna have a lot of great stuff, and I think he's going to make DC rethink some things as well. I will say this, man, what a lot of people said about Cyborg in that aspect is that from what I hear through the waiver wire, I guess, in terms of other people that are nerds, they think that he should stay as a Team Titan rather than Justice League. I don't know if any of you guys heard that or heard somebody say that. You know what I'm saying? But altogether, though, I really do think that it's going to be a great movie. I think everybody's going to watch it and love it, but I think it's going to reignite some things. So hopefully, at the end of the day, man, DC can get on the right track. They can get revived and do something better. So right now, they're kind of on a lifeline. They're on life support.
Yeah, man. I hope that it does ignite or reignite some things. And the fact that we're actually getting the Snyder Cut, you know, has I guess put kind of a validation stamp on the power of belief. So I'm gonna go back to believing and hoping that one day we're gonna get a theatrical version of the Red Hood story, because I'm so sure that that's where it was going if they'd have let it live. You know, probably a little less likely with that one, but that would be so dope, man. To see that up happening on the big screen, that would be so dope.
So I really think that the Joker is like an old Robin. And that's what I think may happen, because they were talking about because I was watching the Ultimate Cut and they were talking about how, you know, waiting or seeing how, because they were talking about Superman and how he seems good now, and he was like, well, we've seen how, you know, good people can go bad, you know, and how they dress up and stuff like that. So I think one of the Robins lost their mind, and they went ahead and became the Joker.
You think it's Jared Leto's Joker? You think it's Jared Leto's Joker?
Yeah, because I've been watching Suicide Squad too. So I took a whole time, and the way that he alluded in that Lamborghini chase, and then after that, when he jumped in the water and when the Lamborghini went in there, he went to go look for the Joker. The Joker wasn't there. That's on some Batman shit. So I think that may be it, and that's the only reason why he would if he didn't know who the Joker was, I don't think he would fuck with him like that. And that also plays in the fact that Joker doesn't feel like he should be loved too, because that may be something too.
You got me thinking now why that may also be why they have that connection in that dream sequence that we're gonna see in the Snyder Cut coming up here in a few hours. So that may further tie into that. That's deep, man. That's deep. That would be dope, man.
Because the Joker's in this one, right? He's in the Justice League movie.
Yeah. See, the reason why I was thinking Red Hood is because and I don't know how many different versions of the story that they have in the comic books, but I am familiar with the one where the Red Hood was the genesis of, or was born out of the death of Robin at the hands of the Joker. So, and then in the Batman versus Superman movie, we saw the suit, Robin's suit that had been spray painted. Yeah. So that's why I was thinking that would be an easy way for them to produce what I would think would be a compelling storyline.
That would make sense as to why he was sitting on the Batmobile and why if I'm talking to you, why would I say your name? You know what I'm saying? Like that's just really odd for me to be like, yeah, you're right, Dennis. Like it was almost a twinge of like angst in it. So I wouldn't be shocked if it is Robin.
And how many versions of that story does the Joker know Batman's true identity? Is it that common to where
all of them?
So you saying Jack Nicholson knew who Batman was?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of it. Man, this is the thing that really, and back to what you were saying, I don't want to, obviously you're the mediator, I want to take over, but the thing that irks my nerves with DC, we have so many versions of the Joker. We have Joaquin Phoenix over here, we got his Joker, we got Jared Leto's Joker. Shoot, we might even get a Zach Efron Joker at some point, right? You know what I'm saying? We might get a Michael B. Jordan Joker, a black Joker, you know what I'm saying, at some point, played by Chris Rock, or something like that. So, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
You fucking around.
Hey,
see that shit in 2025, you fucking around.
Right. What's going on with that? It's just really, my mind's like, wow, okay, how many we gonna get? Because even though we got Jared Leto back in the mix, so how do we explain Joaquin Phoenix Joker, which looked like it took place in the 70s, obviously? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we explain that?
The thing is, the Joker has always been more than one person.
Oh,
always.
Okay. Yeah.
They was inspired by the random act of crime. If y'all get a chance, you can look it up online. It's the Three Jokers storyline. And there are three Jokers at the same exact fucking time. And Batman's trying to figure out which one is which.
And they work together.
Dope.
Yeah, and they work in their different aspects of the Joker. You got the criminal, the mastermind, and you got the comedian. And each one has like a different take on it. And in the end, there ends up being one. And that one at the end lets Batman know, like, yo, I know who you were from the jump, Bruce. I don't give a shit. I ain't gonna tell nobody. But the instant you stop thinking about me, that's when I'll kill everybody around you.
You gotta remember me.
Yeah, it's a love story in a sense. Like they rely on each other. So, but yeah, I'm with it. If they'll remake that motherfucker as many times as you need, because chaos comes in many forms. The way I see it. I think it's only a matter of time before there is a new Joker, a black Joker, especially given the political climate we in. Have y'all seen the new Poison Ivy? Called The Gardener? Go check it out when you get a chance. Go check it out.
Is it a comic book or is this a movie?
No. This is the comic book. Her name, she's called The Gardener, but it's the new Poison Ivy. Go check it out.
Hair and a fro.
She's black.
So dreads. She got dreads. I bet she got dreads.
She
something black.
Kind of looked like Janae Aiko a little bit. In a pantsuit. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so I just think that I think there's a lot of good storylines that they could be able to do. What I want to get out of everything, as far as the services are as far as the movies are concerned, like I'd love to see another, because like they got multiple universes, because they've already said the Batman is not the same as Ben Affleck's Batman. And then also with the Flash, they're doing stuff where they have like Michael Keaton, which is honestly, so it's between, I got to give Michael Keaton because he did it for longer, but then after that there's Ben Affleck. But Michael Keaton is my Batman for real. But have y'all ever watched Batman Returns as an adult? That is not a child's movie at all. He, at one point, the Penguin was like, "Hey, I want some pussy." What? And how did you get me as a 4 or 5 year old just watching it and kikiing? So, but as far as that's concerned, I think there's a lot of different ways that you can be able to really build off of the storylines and stuff like that. I know Gal Gadot said that she only has a couple more movies in her because she's going to try to start settling down. But I think there's a lot of other ones that can be able to be played. I know.
She'll be back.
Yeah. So
what do you think would have? Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, bro.
What do you think would have happened if Billy D had stayed? He was in the first Batman with Michael Keaton, and he was supposed to be Two-Face. He was, because he was what's his name, Harvey Dent. He was Harvey Dent in the first movie, but then they recast it with Tommy Lee Jones.
Well, if it was like a Tim Burton movie, then it'd have been dope. It'd have been dope and dark, and I would have loved it because there would have been like the duality of a person's personality, and I think that could have been really, really good for him. But because a lot of the stuff that they talk about in Tim Burton stuff is like they got like hidden messages, so stuff that I didn't get as a kid you get later on. So it's dope to be able to see that part of it. But I think Billy D would have done right.
Let me ask y'all, speaking on with Billy D and Star Wars, though, let me ask y'all, man, when they did episode 9, right, did you guys think it was more fan service than anything? Because you think about, and I'm bringing it back around to DC, you think about DC, you think about, you know what I'm saying, like you said, too many hands in the cookie jar, and then you think about like the Star Wars, the sequel trilogy. A lot of us don't really like it because it went in too many different directions. And then all of a sudden, Palpatine pops up. Like, it's kind of another example of, like I said, that DC situation where you got different directors, different directions, and then now it's like, what they're trying to do is use comics and books and video games to fix it. Try to fix the where they went wrong with this whole sequel trilogy. I just want to get y'all, well, for those that do watch Star Wars, I want to get y'all mindset on that.
Yeah, let me throw my 2 cents out there because I'm not a hardcore fan of Star Wars. So I've just watched the movies. So I guess for whatever my opinion is worth on this topic, I thought the last 3 films were okay. I'm not sure about how well they connect back to the previous films. How well they did that or not. Like I said, just kind of in my casual fan position of those films just as movies, I thought they were okay in the back end.
in this case, because Dennis and I would we read the comic books, especially Vader storyline. Marvel picked it up, right? They had some awesome runs. The thing in this case, Vic, imagine you get the second trilogy, right? Mm-hmm. And then you knew on the horizon there's going to be a third trilogy. So they write these comic books and they say, hey, we're expanding the universe. We're expanding the universe. Everything is going to make sense in the end. And then you get the movies, and the very first movie contradicts majority of the shit that happened that you read, you know what I'm saying, in between those 10 years. So now we're like, the fuck? Like, no, that's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, it's like if Endgame contradicted everything that happened in Iron Man.
Oh man.
That's why we got so much angst in this trilogy. And Dennis, I definitely feel like they put Lando out there just to be like, hey, he's still alive. Here goes a black person.
Right.
You know,
and the sad part about it too is even Finn, they put Finn on the back burner with his storyline. It's even been admitted, right? Because he was supposed to be Daisy Ridley's love interest. They said, Ryan Johnson said, let's scrap that. We're going to put him with Rose Tico and try to further it with Kylo Ren and Daisy. And then what really, I think everybody knows is what really was the nail in the coffin was them bringing Palpatine back. Because, like you said, the prophecy, George Lucas said it himself, the prophecy was that Anakin, regardless of what it is, Anakin is the chosen one. So, to bring balance to the Force, right? So, he was supposed to kill Palpatine, which he did. And for them to, somehow he transferred his essence somewhere across the galaxy, the Exegol, to another place, totally contradicts the original trilogy. And honestly does a disservice, in a sense. I felt like that was like, man, we got to figure out something, man. They're not liking it. You know, we killed Luke Skywalker, but we're not liking it, yada, yada. Okay, we just going to go back and bring Palpatine back, because everybody knows who that is. When actually Colin Trevorrow, they said his episode 9 adaptation was actually great, because Kylo Ren stayed bad all the way through, which I think made sense.
That's what I wanted. What I wanted.
Because you know what? Because I'm gonna say this, and you know it's the Blair Syndicate, and we show respect for everybody. But I feel like Kylo Ren doing all the bad he did just in the end to redeem himself and become one of the Force is a sign. Is privilege. So you can kill millions of people, right? Mm-hmm. Turn around and decide in one moment, okay, I want to do good, right? And then be able to disappear like a ghost. Like, okay, all is forgiven. That's not how that works. That's a form of privilege to me that I won't dwell too deep into it, because this is the Blair Syndicate and everybody's welcome. I want y'all to think on this. Somebody said this one day, man. They were like, oh my goodness, if Vader became good, then he would be with Luke doing yaga. I said, that's a lie. I said, first off, the Republic would hold him in contempt of war crimes, and he would be tried, and he would be in prison. I said, let's keep it real. Let's not keep it fairy tale now. Let's not keep it fairy tale. Like, seriously. Bro,
that's why.
Go ahead.
That's why they were like, oh, no, let me go. I want to go to sleep.
Let me go. All right, let me go, man. Hey, let me die, bro, because, I'm not about to do that time. You know what I'm saying?
This sounds like another case of what happens when you've established a path you're going down, and then you pivot at the last minute, and you end up putting out a product that doesn't satisfy either of those ends, right?
Absolutely.
And did y'all say Marvel is taking over that?
Star Wars
franchise? So if that's the case, y'all probably ain't got anything to worry about as far as that happening in the future, man. Because Marvel, I'm pretty sure they knew when they were making, for example, like Iron Man 3 and Thor Part 2. They probably knew that wasn't going to be the best movies that they put out in that franchise. But they rolled with it. They persevered, they pushed through it and powered through it, because they had to put those films out in order to progress the story. And the conclusion was all the better for it,
The problem was when Shane Black did Iron Man 3, then turn around and did The Predator, and that movie stuck too. So now they're trying to reboot that.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring that back.
Yeah, Shane Black is trash as a director, bro.
they got a game coming out too.
Alien. They got Alien Fire Team. It looked like Alien Colonial Marines.
Hey, don't you buy it, Dennis. Don't you buy it. You bought the last 3 horrible Alien Predator movies.
I did.
Video game.
I really did. I did buy them games. I'm about to buy this one too. I got to. I got to do it.
Hey, let me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, then.
No, what I was gonna say, this game, just looking at the specs on it, they're using what's that engine? Unreal Engine. They're using the Unreal Engine to run the game, but I think Jeremy would be interested in this. So how about the setting for this game takes place 25 years after the original movie? So they're trying to basically gain new ground. You know, Disney has it now. I know the rumor is that they're supposed to come out with an Alien series on FX. They're trying to put that out because, you know, I think Ridley Scott's running out of gas, to be honest with you. You know, Covenant was straight, but I think people were disappointed to find out that an Android actually made them. So that kind of slowed things down. But go ahead, Vic, man. You got it.
Nah, y'all can round up the topic if y'all want to, because I was trying to pivot back to
Go ahead, man.
I had a DC question I wanted to pose for y'all.
Why it held me to the fire? He said, "Don't you buy that game, then? You waste your money."
Man, listen, because last time you bought it, it got like a score of a 3. I had never seen a score so low. And you was like, man, and you was grunting through it. You was like, it ain't all that bad, you know. Like,
the story, bro, you know what it was?
At least deserve a 6.
The storyline was not bad. I think it was very creative as well as the DLC, because I like a game that has a great storyline too.
You bought the DLC too?
I didn't. I watched it on YouTube.
I was gonna slap your hand through me. I was like, no, don't you do that shit.
I watched it on YouTube. The DLC was cool. The storyline was great because then it started to take place during and after Alien 3 to basically set it up for Hicks to be alive. They set it up for Hicks to, you know, to live and to be there to watch Ripley die in 3. They set it up for that because, like I said, they're coming out with so much stuff, you know, with Covenant coming out and all this stuff. They're trying to open up these storylines. It's crazy. I actually downloaded the not director, but the actually screenplay. No, they're doing screenplays for and they're making them into comics. I got it on my Kindle. They talk like Alien 3 wasn't even supposed to be like what Alien 3 was. Actually, Hicks was going to be the main character. Ripley was going to be like, all the way across the galaxy. Hicks was supposed to be the guy working with Bishop, you know what I'm saying? And that was it. But like I said, man, I'm gonna get the game. Obviously, I got it. I have to see it. I had to see this through. So I mean, it's like you telling your kid, don't touch that red button, and they looking at you with that face like, I'm gonna touch this button. So I'm gonna buy this game. You know.
But you done touched the button 7 times, bro. You done got.
I know, man. I know.
We all allow one bad game investment every now and then, man. I bought when I got my PS5, I bought NBA 2K1. Had never played it on any recent gen consoles before, and ain't played it since the day I bought it. So
I'm gonna be real with y'all. Sports games are not what they used to be, bro.
Oh,
I like that Madden 21 hard though, man. I like it, man.
I like it too. You know what's so funny that I realized once everybody gets a PS5 or Xbox, well, really with the PS5, if you take your PS4 games and put it on that PS5, it runs so much better. Like I took Cyberpunk off my PS4, put it on my PS5, and that game really was meant to be on PS5. It was not.
It was supposed to be next gen.
Yeah, that's why they got sued. That's why they got sued, because they tried to make it down to the PS4 one, and it just was trash. And so that's why they're like, so anytime that one goes on, man, that's why it sucks.
Yeah, like when I played it on PS4, I could tell the frames were a little glitchy. But when I said, you know what, let me put this on PS5 and see how this thing plays. Man, I put that thing on PS5, man, and I'm talking about that thing moving. I'm talking about it kind of felt like how I felt when GoldenEye was at Toys R Us, right? This is amazing, right? At that point, right? You know, it was like that. I'm like, this thing fluid as I don't know what, man. I might have to put some more of my PS4 games on PS5. And that's kind of the advertisement they're doing now. They're saying that, if you put the PS4 game that you downloaded on PS5, the graphics are better. It's gonna run better. And I mean, it's pretty good, man.
Right.
Hey, can I ask one more question before we go? I don't want to drag us out, but I do want to get y'all opinion on this right quick. So you know how the Infinity Stones were kind of the common thread that tied all the Marvel films together. If they roll with the Snyder Cut being, I guess, the official version of what happens as it relates to the DCEU, what would be a common thread? Because if that's the case, then clearly, according to the trailer, they already kind of introduced Darkseid. I don't know if that would be the common thread that could tie them, all those films together, through three kind of major climax films, like you had Avengers 1, 2, and then the two Infinity films.
The Infinity Saga. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah. So if, I guess, in either direction, what would be that common thread that ties all these movies in this franchise together, taking them to, ultimately to a climax, based on what y'all seen in the comics?
Flashpoint.
So Flashpoint could carry like the entire franchise over. If they ended up doing something like Marvel did for 10 years, that would be enough to carry him for 10 years.
Absolutely. Him going back and fixing one thing, causing a ripple effect, which could lead into Crisis.
So here's so I had an idea.
If they're willing to do it.
Say what, bro? My bad.
Sorry, I was just saying if they're willing to do that.
It's going to take some continuity, and that's the thing that makes DC, makes me weary on DC. Is like they don't know how to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do a Crisis, because they already started it with Flash, the dream sequences, him visiting different times. You got to have your ducks in a row.
Batman.
Right, man. You got to write everything together.
So I think they did it. I think they did it wrong here. I think Apocalypse should have been their very bad, like their big bad as far as that's concerned. I think one of the things that they really should have done was, like I said, with my Man of Steel 2, they could have had somebody, like I said, Brainiac come through, because then after that you get your tie-ins from the old Krypton world to also being able to have that. And then at the end where you beat Brainiac, you have him say, well, listen, like what I was doing to you, or what I was planning on doing, was a service compared to who's coming next. That could have been your bringing into the Apocalypse and things like that. You got somebody else you bring in and talking about the mother boxes and being able to find those, have like, rather than having them all being found by the big bad in Justice League, you space them out where, Wonder Woman's movie, she's finding the box for her area. You know what I'm saying? Aquaman finds the box for his area. You know what I mean? Like, Batman doesn't have to do anything. That nobody knows where, and you wait to the actual Justice League movie to try to find the box of man. That way you would have had something to really look forward to. Yeah, you would have had something to really look forward to. But they just didn't. They were too busy to be like, we see how much money Avengers is making, and we know that our characters are going to do that, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing. So they didn't plan this shit out, and that's the part that made it so frustrating, because like there's a whole lot of people that had better stories to put together than what they did.
Man, dude, I feel what you're saying, and I'm not knocking it when I say this, but you talking about the mother box, like, man, it sounded so much like the Infinity Stone, right? I think you're right about something with the mother box though, involving Cyborg. I think Cyborg in the mother, because he comes from that, right? His armor is made from that, right? And I think that, like I said, I think that's gonna be the key, especially with this Snyder Cut if they decide to go forward. But like I said, I think where they messed up at, man, I think they should have introduced more. We should have got Green Lantern in the mix. I think, like I said, Green Lantern, Aquaman, like I said, Superman, Batman, but like I said, every 3 movies have a major movie, right? Or 3 or 4. Every 3 or 4, right? Because what they do? They did Superman, they did Batman versus Superman, which is what technically Superman 2, and then they jumped into Justice League. Like that was just too quick. You got to build it up, and that's what Marvel did. They built it up. They built it up in sequence. Like they dropped Iron Man, right? But we didn't see the Avengers till 2012, right? After the big 3 got their movie, after Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America got their movies, then they were like, okay, we got to drop this. And I think the thing that also makes things confusing too, like they got these shows on the CW. You see how Marvel's doing it? Like WandaVision, dropping all those on Disney Plus, one by one. Now we about to get, Falcon and Winter Soldier. But it makes sense though. It's not like we're jumping over here, we're jumping over there. I got Black Lightning on CW, I got Supergirl over here, I got about 3 Supermans over here. I got Superman on CW, then I got Henry Cavill there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just they just doing too much, man. Yeah, consistency. They just doing too much. You see how Marvel doing it? It's like having a picnic table. It's like having a dinner table, and everything is assorted the right way, right? But with DC, it's like, man, shoot, I got macaroni and cheese over here. I got tacos over there. I got, you know what I'm saying, tea cake over here, and I come to that table and be like, you know what? This don't even go together, man. You know what? I'm gonna go to this table over here where everything is assorted the right way, because that's how it should be. That's how fans like it. You want to make it make sense. I was hungry when I said
that. I think those are both good ideas, man. I think the Flashpoint paradox does present them ample opportunities to have multiple films that kind of spur off because of small details that may have been changed in the past, and I think the mother boxes kind of produce that same Infinity Stone element to it as well that could tie them all together. I was just curious, man. I don't know of anything off the top of my head that would tie them all together, and maybe there maybe there doesn't have to be a common thread other than the fact that, we know that these heroes all exist in the same universe. And, because, for example, like for a while, like Thor, for example, existed, in the same universe, but the other heroes weren't aware of him, kind of off rip with DC. They're all aware of each other, already. So, it could mature in such a way where you don't have to have a common thread other than the fact that, like I said, these heroes exist together. You have your solo films because, each of them has responsibilities outside of the things they have to take care of when the Justice League gets together. But when there is a big baddie that comes along that requires everybody's services,
everybody come together. Yeah,
come together then.
I just wanted a good Doomsday, and low key Doomsday should have killed at least some superhero. So they should at least built in a superhero that should have been able to get killed. That's just my personal opinion, because
he killed the superhero.
I understand, but before he gets there, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to have that gravitas that goes along with the situation, where like, oh, we really need everybody together on this one. So like, I think that would have been a good one to have, like maybe the third Superman movie, and then you go into the Justice League kind of that way. Yeah. So you have the first one with Zod, the second one with Brainiac, the third one with Doomsday.
I would have dropped Batman too. I would have dropped a little Batman in there too, just lead up into it. You know what I'm saying?
Because they already kind of like real quick, right? Within 3 movies, they already kind of burnt through 3 real good storylines that could have been movies all on themselves, man. Like Batman, Superman could have been one on its own. The death of Superman could have been one on its own, and then his resurrection could have been one on its own, man. Like they burned through all them.
I agree. I agree. I totally agree. Oh my goodness.
So, I think they were so busy to try to get to catch up with Marvel. And like you said, they didn't stay in their own lane. They could have been able to say, okay, well, Marvel already had they had like 5 years before we started doing any of this stuff. Let's just go ahead, stay in our lane. Know that, by this time right now, honestly, Justice League, the movie should have been coming out, and they should have had developed other storylines, other people, and when and Dennis, the one thing you were talking about with the CW, like I know they're trying to do that. Well, see, and they have theirs separated based off of whether or not it's television versus movies, and that doesn't work out either, because you
and that's why it's working for Marvel, bro. It's working with them, man. It's working. You got the same character. I'm seeing the same, except for Terrence Howard. I'm seeing the same characters. I'm seeing the same characters that I saw on the big screen on a TV show. I'm like, oh, that works for me, right? That works for me. Because guess what? I'm not confused. I'm not looking at Barry on CW, that's the Flash, and looking at Ezra Miller on the big screen. Like, I mean, and obviously, like why you are a connoisseur of the CW, but most of you and Jeremy, Vic, too, I don't really watch the CW like that. You know what I'm saying? To be like, I'm dug into this.
I don't either.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like Smallville was cool. I mean, Smallville was cool, but when all of a sudden you got you got Supergirl, you got Lois and was it Lois and Clark or something like that? Lois and Superman. Then you got this. I'm like, bro, bro, all right, I'm confused. I'm not gonna give it. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a lot. So what we'll do, because what we'll do talk about next time, we're gonna talk about the like the Justice League, and then we can also talk about how the CW is different. I'll break some of this stuff down because like it's just crazy. Because like at one point the Suicide Squad was on the CW, and then they found out they were gonna make a Suicide movie. So then they cut the whole thing out. Like they had, and plus I think with the CW, it went from being like shows. It went from being like a, how do I want to explain it? So it went to being like, say for instance, it was comic book movies or comic book shows, and it was a drama based on that, versus it being a CW show, where then it was like, Gilmore Girls and shit like that with capes. So, bro, that's the best way I can explain it. Cause like Arrow was killing folks in the first like 2-3 seasons, and then after that, the shit just went like, now we're gonna talk about Felicity Smoke and Oliver having their relationship, and that's gonna be the focal point. I just wanted a nigga to get shot with an arrow. That's all I was looking for. They had Deathstroke in there, everything. So
I think it could be a blessing in disguise, man.
Yeah, it could be.
Because Marvel's approach, they're gonna be some things that happen, and it may be by design in those series that are going to be reflected in the next films, right?
Yeah,
the next films. But with DC's approach, you could have those TV shows kind of be their own universe, and you don't have to worry about the continuity between them and what you put on the big screen. So it could be a blessing in disguise, man. It all depends on how they play their hand.
All right. Well, Jeffrey Dean Meyer was supposed to be Batman's dad, so he was supposed to be in the Flashpoint, because they were doing something like that. So the guy who plays the dude off of The Walking Dead, the one that had the hammer, or not the hammer, the bat, he was supposed to be that. And so they had a whole setup ready for that, but I think a lot of times they just got too nervous about what was going on. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, fellas. I want to get any final thoughts from you guys. What you think about the movie, what you think about all this going on, and then we'll close it out.
I'm gonna go first since I'm the naysayer. Keep your expectations at a 7. That way you don't get disappointed. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's usually my position, man, when approaching any movie that has the potential to let me down. But I'm having a difficult time rattling my expectations, man, just because I wanted this for so long and we finally got it. I'm having a hard time not having real high expectations, man. So I'm excited to see it, man.
Oh man, for me, I think it's for anybody, man. Just have fun, man. Just watch it, enjoy it, have no expectations at all, and just take it as it comes, and that's it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say the same thing, man. It's just nice to see somebody's hard work put out. You know, I know Zach Snyder had a lot of stuff going on in his life where his daughter took her own life, and you know, it was tough for him. But I think this is kind of like his labor of love, and we finally get to see Henry Cavill without that horrible CGI mustache thing that they did. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they kind of come up with. I'm excited to see the black suit, but like, as far as that's concerned, man, like, hopefully it turns out good for some of these people, and you know, we'll see. We're gonna reconvene a little bit later on. This is the night of you know, the Snyder drop, and we'll probably reconvene later on in a couple of days. That way everybody has a chance to see it and see if we were let down or pleasantly surprised. So
pleasantly surprised.
Yes. So this is us just signing out with the Blurred Syndicate. So I just want to say thank you for joining this BS with us, and just stay tuned. All right.